Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desakarane Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So I have the verse here, so we can put that. I'm supposed to go to PPT, but first I must go to my this thing. I should go here, I should go to the inbox. He Gopalaka, He Kripa Jalanidhe, He Sandhu Kanyapati. Okay. Abhi dekh sakta hai? Is it big enough? So, this is the verse for today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So, 11, Canto 11, chapter something and text 16. So first we'll try to familiarize ourselves with the wordings. Sampujya Deva Rishi Varyam Rishivi Purano. No. Narayano Narasako. No, you don't have to repeat. I'm telling you how the verse goes, the Sanskrit. Try to understand. Then when I read, you will understand what you are reading. Sampujya Deva Rishi Varya Rishivi Purano Narayano Narasako Vidino Ditena Vanya Abhibhashya Mityam Mitha Abhishtaya tam praha Prabhu Bhagavate Karavama Hekim. So Krishna is speaking this verse. So Sampujya Deva Rishi Varyam. Deva Rishi Varyam, the best of Deva Rishis is Narada. Sampujya, after worshipping. Varya Rishibi Varyam Rishihi Purano. But he himself is the original Rishi. Narayano Narasaka, he is friend of Nara and known as Narayana. Vidinoditena, according to he has worshipped. And Vanya Abhibhashya. Van means it's coming from walk. So Vanya Abhibhashya, and speaking to him, how was he speaking? Mitayama Atimishtaya Tam. So very nice sweet words. Vishashtaya Tam Praha. So Tam and Praha are coming together. Then he told him, Prabhu Bhagavate Karavama Hekim, kya karenge aapke liye? So he asked. Sampujya Deva Rishir Varya Rishihi Purano. Sampujya Deva Rishir Varya Rishihi Purano. Narayano Narasako Vidinoditena. Narayano Narasako Vidinoditena. Vanya Bibasha Mitayam Atamishtayatam. Vanya Abhibhashya Mitayamrita Mishtayatam. प्राह प्रभो भगवते करवामहे किम् प्राह प्रभो भगवते करवामः किम् सम्पूज्य देव ऋषिवर्यं ऋषिः पुराणो नारायणो नरसको विधिनोदितेन वाण्या विभाष्यमितयामृतं मिष्टया तम् प्राह प्रभो भगवते करवामहे किम् सम्पूज्य देव ऋषिवर्यं ऋषिः पुराणो नारायणो नरसको विधिनोदितेन वाण्या अभिभाषमृतयामृतं मिष्ट्याथम् प्राह प्रभो भगवते करवामहे किम् Yes. सम्पूज्य देव ऋषिवर्यं ऋषिः पुराणो नारायणो नरसको विधिनोदितेन वाण्या अभिभाषमितयामृतं मिष्टया तम् प्राह प्रभो भगवते करवामहे किम् Anybody else? Kim mothers, Sampuja, fully worshipping Deva among the demigods, Rishihi, the sage, Varyam, greatest, Rishihi, the sage, Purana, primeval, Narayana, Lord Narayana, Narashaka, the friend of Nara, Vidina, by scripture, Uditena, enjoined, Vanya, with speech, Abhibhashya, conversing, Mitaya, measured, Amrita, with nectar, Mishtaya, sweet, Tham, him, Narada, Praha, he addressed, Prabhu, O Master, Bhagavate, for the Lord, Karavama, we may do, He, O, Kim, what? कहाँ है भागवतम किताब? Why there is no Bhagavatam किताब? अंदर है क्या? देखो. No, I don't think it's. Why Bhagavatam is not here? Strange. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Translation. After fully worshipping the great sage of the demigods according to Vedic injunctions, Lord Krishna, who is himself the original sage Narayana, the friend of Nara, conversed with Narada, and the Lord's measured speech was as sweet as nectar. Finally, the Lord asked Narada, "What may we do for you, our Lord and Master?" Please repeat. After fully worshipping the great sage of the demigods, according to Vedic injunctions, Lord Krishna, who is himself the original sage, Narayana, the friend of Nara, conversed with Narada, and the Lord's measured speech was as sweet as nectar. Finally, the Lord asked Narada, "What may we do for you, our Lord and Master?" Purport. In this verse, the words Narayano Narasaka indicate that Krishna is himself the Supreme Lord Narayana, who appeared as the friend of sage Nara. In other words, Lord Krishna is Rishi Purana, the original and supreme spiritual master. Nevertheless, following the Vedic injunctions, Vidino Uditena, that a Kshatriya should worship the Brahmanas, Lord Krishna happily worshipped his pure devotee Narada Muni. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kata Mahyam Tadati Sapatantikam Pancha Kalpatarobhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. There are all the saffrons, brahmacharis. Okay. How many of you here are regularly chanting? Put your hand up. How many of you are not regularly chanting Hare Krishna? Put your hand up. Only one? Two. Okay. So then we know what is the composition of the audience, who can speak accordingly. So, this is in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the canto in which Krishna is directly described, and here the Lord's pastimes in Dwaraka that Narada came to witness are being described. Narada is described as Deva Rishim Varyo. In the demigod planets also there are highly renowned sages, even though they are heavenly planets meant for enjoyment. And amongst them, the best is Narada Muni. Narada Muni is the global preacher. He goes into all the planetary systems and he is preaching. He was preaching to Dhruva Maharaj, son of Uttanapada. Right? Then he preached to Prahlad Maharaj, it's in the previous Yuga. And he is also preaching to Yudhishthira Maharaj in the Bhagavatam, which is just in Kali Yuga. So, he is an eternal person and all the acharyas are eternal. All the acharyas are eternal. And so the position of the acharya is unique. And Narada Muni wanted to see, Krishna has built 900,000 palaces for all his immediate families and the great, position holders in Dwaraka, commanders and this and that. And out of that 900,000 unlimited mansions which were established by Vishwakarma himself, the divine architect, 16,108 palaces, each unlimited, was for Krishna. One palace for each one of his 16,108 wives that he married. So Narada Muni, Srila Narada Muni wanted to know, how can the one person be present in 16,108 places, doing different things? It's not like, somebody is speaking on the TV, is on millions of TVs. It's the same thing. Here Krishna is doing in different places, different things. So it's not just some facsimile, but really Krishna has expanded himself. Of course, in the spiritual world, Krishna expands himself unlimitedly. We have all heard that when the Rasa dance took place, there were unlimited billions of gopis, and he was dancing with each one of them, and each one of the gopis thought, Krishna is dancing only with me. We have heard that. And he also, in all the pastimes in the spiritual world, manifests himself in so many places simultaneously. In more advanced literatures, it is described how one gopi is saying, you don't go to her place, you come to my place. And Krishna says, I never go to her place, I'll come to your place. And he's there. But in the other place also he's present and he's telling her, who will go to her place? I only come to your place. And by his, unlimited expansions, he's doing amazing pastimes and they are enjoying. And we are not to think, well, at least I don't think, that as soon as I get liberated, which we don't know when it will happen, but assuming it happens one day, one that I'll go to the spiritual world and I will have some relation with Krishna, Gopi, Gopa, and I will dance. That is very advanced. Very advanced. Just like if you it is not that everybody who is appointed in a company will start as a CEO, isn't it? You have to start as a peon and go up. Why is people getting up and going? If anybody is going to get up and go now. Because in the middle, if you just keep on getting up and going, it's disturbing. Okay. So, so Krishna, so we should not think foolishly, at least I don't think foolishly, you are all great devotees, at least I'm speaking for myself, that we are nothing but a small atom. Uddhava was praying that I should become a blade of grass in the spiritual world, but a blade of grass we know is made of how many atoms? Millions of atoms. So if we can actually become an atom in a blade of grass, that is a great position. And Lord Chaitanya is telling us that this is how we have to pray. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budau kripaya tavapada pankaja stita duli sadrisham vichintaya. Let me be fixed as an atom at your lotus feet. Of course, being a spiritual atom is no mean thing, and you can actually enjoy. It is not that you are an atom in the blade of grass. It doesn't mean you can't take prasadam, you can't jump and dance. And it's a different world. You cannot imagine it. You have to realize it. That's another matter. And untold trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of years, we have to progress. Then we can come to higher levels of consciousness and relationship with Krishna. So our position is very insignificant. You follow what I'm saying? You thought you'll become a gopi as soon as you die, I'll become perfect, I'll go there, I'll dance. Extraordinary personalities. And our job is to understand Krishna. Even Narada Rishi is coming to understand Krishna. What's our position? Narada, meaning Rishi can go just to Vaikuntha planet whenever he wants. He's with Narayana. He has heard that Krishna has come. He knows Krishna is the Supreme Person. So when he came, Krishna received him, sat him, and Narada Rishi is not an ordinary person. We cannot say, chalo, baito, lacha marenge. No, you cannot. He's not going to waste time here. So the Lord, for him also it is indicated here by Shukadeva Goswami that he is Rishihi Purano. He is himself the original Rishi. So Narada Rishi can actually relate to him as Rishi to Rishi. Same thing we can discuss. So they must have discussed a lot of befitting topics at Rishi to Rishi days. And in his form as the original Rishi, he is known as Narayana out of Naranarayana, the two sages who live in Badrikashrama. I have not understood much about Nara and Narayana, but we have heard that in the Shastra. I just accept that. And that Narayana was conversing with Narada. And of course, Narada is going to go to every planet. This is not just, this is what is happening in one, what is it called? Palace. And he is going to go to thousands of other palaces. And everywhere Krishna is doing different things, because to visit 16,108 palaces, you can imagine, of course, they are on the transcendental time plane, but still there is night and day there. So we can understand that even if he started at morning 6, by the time he went to some of the places, it will be afternoon, and some of the places evening, and some of the places night. And accordingly, Krishna is doing different things according to different times. You'll see that in the coming verses. So Narada Rishi is now in one place, and he's talking. The same way he's going to go to different places, and in different places Krishna is doing. Some places he's hunting, some places he's in the court, and some places he's with the wife in the palace. So many things are there. Narada Muni is astonished. Narada Muni himself can expand. Prabhupada has explained that an ordinary person, jiva, yogi, can expand into 8 forms maximum. We have heard that Kardama Muni expanded himself into 8 forms to enjoy with his wife and please her, because she served him faithfully throughout her life. Incredible personality. That's another story. So, but Krishna can expand into unlimited forms, and the 16,108 is only a sample. So Narada Rishi himself is trying to understand who is Krishna. What is Krishna's pastimes? Narada Rishi is a spiritual master of the 3 worlds, not an ordinary person. Although in Indian movies he is shown like a caricature. but he's an extraordinary personality. And he's trying that. So our job is also to understand Krishna. You see? So Prabhupada is writing in Bhagavad-gita, chapter 10, 9 verse, Matchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayantas Parasparam. So in that verse, Prabhupada says, there are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe. Jai Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ji ki jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe, and out of them there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. So Prabhupada is one such pure devotee like Narada Rishi, Sukadeva Goswami, coming from the spiritual world. And there he is not an atom, he is, the highest levels of relationship with Krishna. He is a spiritual master of everyone. That's why it's called Prabhupada. Prabhupada means two meanings are there. Prabhu means other spiritual masters. Pada means who sit at his lotus feet. So people who can claim to be spiritual masters for others, when they see Prabhupada, they have to offer obeisance. Even all the demigods, they come, they'll offer dandavat to Prabhupada. Indra, Chandra, Varuna, everybody. His position is so great. Just like in a company, there are CEO, COO, CTO, big managers are all there. And when the owner comes, they talk to him, hello sir, equally, yeah, this department is like that. But when the owner's child comes, 5-year-old boy, then everybody is taking care of him. And, he's, they're just a servant. Like that, when Krishna comes, all these demigods are taking part in the pastimes, they're equal, but when Krishna's pure devotee comes, they're all, wow, this is a position we don't have. This person knows Krishna personally, and he can, even the CEO of a company does not get invited. Ambani is there, he doesn't get invited to his house. Maybe occasionally, but not always. This person is Lord Krishna's very, very close, whatever, his relationships are there for the different acharyas. So they actually will serve him more. So that is the position of the pure devotee. And such pure devotees are, of course, always traveling. And they go, but when a conditioned soul trying to get to meet a pure devotee is very, very difficult. And in this Kali Yuga, everybody is getting a chance to meet this pure devotee and to understand devotional service. That's the most important thing. And this devotional service is just like a seed. And if it is sown in the heart of the living entity, so the devotional service is the seed. And if he goes on hearing and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies just like the seed of the tree fructifies with regular watering. So, unless you have received that seed of devotional service, Bhakti Lata Bij, Brahmanda Brahmite, Prabhupada is actually in this purport writing the translation of that verse. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev. Brahmanda Brahmite, wandering throughout the different planets. It's all, every line of Prabhupada is a translation of a sloka. He's not just writing like that. Out of the Brahmanda Brahmite, Kono, singular. Ekavachanam. Kono Bhagyavanji. Who is that person? Not who are the persons who are fortunate. Who is that one person who is fortunate? Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So you have to have that seed of devotional service in your heart. Then when you chant Hare Krishna, that seed will fructify. That's the process of devotional service. समझा? So you have, देखो थोड़ा, अंदर है क्या? Seed. I was speaking to one boy, 3-year-old boy, the grandchild of one of the people who come to our institute. Not temple devotees, from outside they come. Here nobody comes upstairs, but they come. And that boy, I was asked, he said, Krishna kahan hai? He asked me. I was a little surprised. Then I said, Krishna bahar bhi hai, tumhara andar bhi hai. Then immediately he lifted his shirt. Nahi, he said. So he is understanding. So, Krishna, so that process of devotional service is a seed. It's a long process. If you have received that process, and that process can be received purely, Prabhupada explains, or Karma Mishra, Jnana Mishra is there, mixed seed. And when you chant accordingly, results will come. So the pure devotional service is that seed that you can get from a pure devotee. And then when we chant, the process will occur. But without that process, what will be the value of chanting? We will see Prabhupada say that. You see? So this chanting has got different stages. Nama Aparadha stage, offensive. Nama Abhasa stage, offenseless. And Suddhanam, pure chanting. In the offensive stage, you continue to think I am the body. And you see the world, and you relate to the world, and you act. How many? Practically everybody is on that platform. So that platform is offensive stage. So that chanting will take long time to fructify the seed, if you have the seed. You have, otherwise we won't come to this process. But we must know, we should know that seed and we should protect it and cultivate it. So what is that seed? We are going to see a little bit. And Nama Bhas, so we are in the darkness of material existence. It looks very bright, but when the sun settles, it's dark. So we are in a dark place, we don't know that. We know that in the sun at night time, but we sleep, we don't care. So this is a dark place, the spiritual world is a light place. Therefore the Vedas say, Om Tamaso Ma'a Jyotirgamaya. Don't stay in tamas, darkness, come to light. So we must have some attraction, Prabhupada says that. So in this dark world, then by chanting, when that creeper of devotion service starts to grow, then light will come like morning. We come for Mangala arati, after that it's still dark, then 5 o'clock, then you start seeing things. Before you didn't see, it was all dark. Then you start seeing things as they are. So like that, in Namabha stage, you start seeing the reality behind this world. This world is unreal. And at that stage, you become offenseless chanting. It's almost like pure chanting. It's not yet poor chanting because the seed has not developed into a luxury, plant. And more chanting and more devotional service, you go to Suddhanam, pure chanting. Stages are there. So how to go from Nama Aparadha stage where everybody in the conditioned world has to begin, where predominated by the bodily concept. How to go at least to the Namabha stage is to be known. And see, Prabhupada is saying, very important point, the hearing party must be sincere in understanding transcendental subject matter. When Prabhupada is speaking, we must be sincere, and we must also be qualified that we can present it. Then Prabhupada says, what the people do not know is that Krishna consciousness is a process. Without the process, the kirtan is simply a sound vibration. It has no real effect. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that it is simply like the vibration of the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G. He's not speaking English. Isn't it? Child is saying A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. It's saying A, B, C, D. It has not yet learned English. So you have not yet learned the language of bhakti, we, or at least I. And if we actually are not in the process, it is the process that is important. This is Prabhupada quoted in the book Krishna Standards, a handbook by Jayadeva Swami. So this process of Krishna consciousness is what we should understand. Are you following? Huh? Yeah, we are thinking that chanting is a process. Right? I think chanting is a process. I'll chant and dance and take prasadam. And no, Krishna consciousness is the process and chanting is what you have to do in that process. Just like you are going from Bombay to Delhi, that's a journey. In the journey, you have to buy the ticket, you have to pack your this thing, you have to take a taxi, you have to go to the station, you have to catch the train, you have to pack your prasadam for the trip. All those are part of the process. Suppose you pack your suitcase and you make your prasadam and take the catch the taxi and go to the station, but you have not bought the ticket. You can't get onto the train. Then what is the value? I think this will be a little shocking and confusing for people. But Prabhupada is saying that. Without the process, the kirtan is simply a sound vibration. It has no real effect. That's like if you didn't know you have to get into the train, even if you bought a ticket, it's a piece of paper. It has no value. Oh. And you can ask, what is this? Holy name is absolute. We have told. Yes, but you have to understand the whole Siddhanta. We can't concoct. That's why while chanting, the meaning of chanting is that I want service. Because devotional service is part of that process. It is only by devotional service that you can. So Narada Muni is actually doing devotional service all the time. So he's trying to understand more Krishna. You see? So chanting is, and even reading books, Prabhupada says, simply you take the book and read it on your own. It's of no value. In second canto, Prabhupada is writing. Srimad Bhagavatam, or for that matter, any other scientific literature, cannot be studied at home. Srimad Bhagavatam, or for that matter, any other scientific, what is this? Oops. What is this? Kya? Somebody is doing something? Can you read? So, Srimad Bhagavatam, or for that matter, any other scientific literature, cannot be studied at home by one's intellectual capacity. Medical books of anatomy or physiology are available in the market, but no one can become a qualified medical practitioner simply by reading such books at home. One has to be admitted to the medical college and study the books under the guidance of learned professors. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, the postgraduate study of the science of Godhead, can only be learned by studying at the feet of a realized soul like Srila Vyasadeva. So, when I have explained this before, when you are reading these books, you are getting some knowledge, by your intelligence, and that is also good enough, because Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita, you worship him by his intelligence when you study this conversation. But you are studying by your own intelligence. Anyway, these are difficult matters. I don't know whether you are all able to hear and understand. If you are in the illusion that you think you know everything, then you will map whatever I say to whatever you know. Oh, this, that, this, that. It's very difficult. So I'm trying to take you. Normally they say I don't say anything, so today I'm going to speak a little bit more. Normally things I don't speak. So hear carefully. And whenever you hear Bhagavatam properly, you are not to think. It is useless. You should simply hear and pray inside that I hope I will understand this. But if you try to understand it based on what you know, it won't fructify. Anyway. So, Narada Rishi is going to see Krishna and he is trying to understand Krishna. So, the question comes, who is Krishna? Why is it that even Narada Muni is not able to understand Krishna? Krishna has already said that, Name viduhu suragana partha maharishim prabhavamscha. Of course, doesn't apply to Narada Muni Rishi, who is greater than Maharishis, but still, Prabhupada said in one purport that even the pure devotees in the spiritual world cannot claim to fully understand Krishna. Untold trillions of them together. So who is Krishna? So one beginning understanding of Krishna, which you all must have, is that if you take everything in existence, material and spiritual creation, everything in existence, and people call it reality, but all that is in existence, there is actually a soul for the totality of all existence. That soul is Krishna. Just as you are the soul of this body, the totality of this body, for the totality of the whole existence, Krishna is the soul. So in the Bhagavad-gita, Arjuna says that in one verse, is Vishwatman. He's called Krishna what? Vishwatman. Vishwa Atman. He is actually the soul of the universe. Are you following? Did you know that? You knew? Krishna is the soul of the universe. Not just one universe, of all that's in existence. Now, just as I can know my body, but my body cannot know me, like that Krishna knows that I know everything, but nobody knows me. It's Krishna's supreme position. Constitutionally, Krishna cannot be understood by anybody. Try to understand. Because we are all part of his body, transcendental body, and he is the soul. You're following? This is subject matter fit for meditation. Rama Prabhu, am I making sense or wasting time? Wasting time? So how this Krishna is to be known? You see? How is this Krishna is to be known? Narada Rishi can go and visit. Even still he couldn't understand. At the end you will see him say, how you are able to do all these things with different palaces. We'll see that. So it's not that just because you see Krishna, you can understand Krishna. People say, have you seen God? What is the faida of seeing God? There's nothing. Arjuna saw God, but he was confused. But he heard God, then he became clear. You see? There's no use in saying, I saw Bhimsen Joshi. You saw, but but did you hear him sing? No. No, he's a singer. You have to hear him. So a sadhu, there's no point in just seeing. You have to hear. It's a great process. So Krishna cannot be constitutionally known, therefore he is called Ajita. Try to understand. We can say Ajito, Jito, Piya, you can quote whatever you want. But actually Ajita means by his nature Krishna cannot be known. Therefore in the Bhagavad-gita it says, I know everybody but nobody knows me. Saying, but we have to understand. These are things that you cannot simply by reading the books understand by your own power. Anyway. Then how is Krishna known to anybody? Then it turns out there are two kinds of souls. The souls in the material world who naturally dislike Krishna, all of us. We must never forget that. I at least never forget that myself. And in the spiritual world, there are people who naturally love him. They love Krishna, naturally. And Krishna reveals himself to those people. Are you following? Are you following or not? This is Siddhanta. It's not just storybook, Bhagavatam. This is, I hope it's of interest to you people, otherwise many people boycott my lecture, looks like. But what we can do? I can also give simple sadha, siddha sadha. I have done this before all of you are born. So try to understand, this is important things. So, unless you approach a person, the pure devotee, who loves Krishna, to whom Krishna has revealed himself, there's no way we can know Krishna. That's why Prabhupada said, out of the millions of wandering living entities, one who gets a chance to meet a pure devotee. So you have to use this seed. This is not a mechanical process. Believe me, I've done this much longer than you have done it, mechanical process. And there's no advancement, then what's the use? Prabhupada has given so many things that anyone can read and give enough lectures. I'm not the body and spirit soul, but the main thing is that you have to understand Krishna. And the chanting process and reading process, everything is part of that process. But you don't even know about Krishna, you don't even hear, you don't even know that you don't know Krishna, then what's the point? So, when we are actually in the process of chanting Hare Krishna mantra offensively, it is part of the preliminary purification process. Although the same chanting will then continue everything, but it's in the preliminary. So Prabhupada writes here in Madhya Leela CC. In the morning, afternoon, evening, one should worship the deity, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, offer oblations, perform fire sacrifice and feed the brahmanas. So chant Hare Krishna mantra is one of them. These 5 activities constitute Purascharya. Pura means preliminary, Charya means cleaning process. Preliminary purification process is called Purascharya. That's what we are doing before bhakti. But it has got all the elements of bhakti. To attain full success when taking initiation from the spiritual master, one should first perform the Purascharya process. Prabhupada has given everything. We have to slowly understand. So anyway, the main point now we are coming to is Krishna, understanding Krishna is the process. And that Krishna, we are all, everybody here, everybody accepts Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. How? Seed of devotional service in the heart. Prabhupada has given. Otherwise it is not possible for you or me to understand Krishna as the Supreme Person. Because we didn't know that Krishna is the soul of everything. And that he is unknowable. And he is knowable as such only through his pure devotee. So I'll make one more point. I have lots of points. I don't know, the time is there. So then how are we, I'm also reading, but I'm going through my mind and process. So I gave the example, like you have a bartan pot, and the pot, somebody is putting pure milk, but the pot has got a dirty cloth. Then you will get milk, but it will be dirty milk. So when you are trying to understand the Krishna consciousness process through your mind and intelligence, it's still milk, it's still bhakti, it's still you are doing it, but it's not pure. You should know that. We should know that. If you don't want to know, at least I should know. Maybe you're all doing pure bhakti, but I'm in the dirty milk. That cloth, dirty cloth, is the mind, intelligence and false ego, subtle body, and that has to be removed. It's the same person who is pouring the milk, if he removes that and put it, I've given this example. So we have to elevate ourselves to that position. See? The so-called Ritik group is saying Prabhupada is Diksha Guru, and then you have here Prabhupada is Siksha Guru, but I say he's neither. He has to become your Siksha Guru. For that you have to become qualified. He becomes Siksha Guru when he removes that cloth and puts them. Same milk he is giving, when he removes that cloth, none of them know. Therefore, every day we are singing Dibya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. Not here, not outside. He's speaking, he's writing, he's reading, we are hearing. But in order for him to give it inside your heart, you got to sell your soul to him. There is a process. All this should be known. It's not simply a process. I've been there for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 90 years. I can speak whatever I want. Krishna consciousness is a science. And science, I'll make one last point. I mean, so many things to be made. Science is empirical. Science is what? You know what the word empirical means? Prabhupada speaks about that in many, many places. How many people know actually what is empirical science? Empirical. Put your hand up. You actually know. What do you know? Oh, it's Sumit. You don't put your hand. You say, I taught you. Whatever little you know. Okay. No. Others. Nobody else. Nobody. You don't know. Science is empirical, and you don't even know what's empirical. The word empiri means, in Greek, experience. Experience means sense experience. I'm just going to come to this important point. You cannot speak about reality that is outside your experience. Very important. I'm trying to show you how Krishna consciousness is science from Bhagavad-gita in a minute. So please listen carefully. You cannot speak about reality more than what you can observe. Suppose you are actually in Bombay right now. Right now, if whatever you see, that is the reality, you can speak. You cannot speak about what is happening in downtown Nariman Point, can you? You don't know that reality. Are you following this point? You are limited. We are limited jivas. So our notion of reality, if you go by science, which is empirical, it cannot be beyond your experience, sense experience. Try to understand this point. Are you following? Now, the scientists are trying to understand things beyond experience by their mental power, but let's not worry about that right now. We're worried about Bhagavad-gita. I'm not giving a science lecture, that's different. But please try to understand, when Srila Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is a science, he says it is a science that's based on your experience. Are you following? So unless you expand your experience, you cannot know Krishna, because Krishna is the reality behind all experience, sum total. And you don't have that. Can you see the whole universe? Can you? then you cannot speak about the reality beyond your universe. Newton was saying, I am like a child in the seashore. The ocean of knowledge is there, but I am only taking some pebbles. But that's not the point. That is there. The Shaivite idea is there. One famous Tamil poetess, she sang, Katrathu kaimannalavu, kalladadu ulagalavu. जो मुझे मालूम है that is हाथ में अगर रद्दी ले लूँगा तो जितना है वो मुझे मालूम है, लेकिन whatever I don't know, that's as great as the world. That is not the Vaishnava way of saying. Vaishnava way of saying will be கல்லாதது உலகளவு என்று கற்றது கைமண் அளவு. You have to say, what I don't know is everything, but I hardly know a little bit that I don't know everything. You don't even know that you don't know everything. Because you should be able to say how you don't know. You cannot suddenly say, I don't know Hilbert space. You don't even know such a thing exists. So for you to be able to say, I don't know everything, you should be able to, so I'm giving you a little clue. What is the first step in understanding Krishna, the super soul? Your experience must be of the whole universe, otherwise you cannot understand Krishna. Simply, of course, he is also there in every atom. And that's another thing. Sukadeva Goswami says the first step in God realization. We'll come to that. Are you following? This is Bhagavatam, Siddhanta, not just stories. So, unless you expand your experience, you cannot know Krishna. Remember this. Right now, we are just hearing, like an animal, I am hearing. Kya hai abhi? Next. Therefore, Krishna is telling Arjuna, but you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. And in the next verse, this was not put here. The next verse, Krishna says that sitting in one place, you can see the whole universe. Find that verse. Isn't it? He says that, Arjuna, in the next verse. So Krishna is being scientific. He is saying, before you can know that I am the soul behind the whole universe, you must see the universe. Therefore, he says, I'll make you see, you are sitting in one place, but I'll make you see the whole universe. You understand why now Krishna consciousness is science? If he had not said that, how would you know that? It's very subtle. In other words, the more you know science, the more you'll understand Bhagavad-gita is science. How Krishna is going step by step. You find it interesting or no? Huh? Otherwise, why is Krishna showing this universal form? And Sukadeva Goswami says in the second canto of Bhagavatam, the first step in God realization is actually understanding the universal form. So your consciousness has to expand. That is, more things have to be said, but it's a beginning. I'm just explaining. So if you simply think that if you don't know these things, this Krishna going and Narada Rishi going and seeing Krishna is simply a story. You can read up so many things about it and speak so many things, but actually you're a fool. Not only you don't know Krishna, but you don't even know that you don't know Krishna. So don't go around in the illusion. 11:13. Just see, 5 verses down is speaking. Come on. 11:13, Krishna says, at that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place. Although he was in one place, he was sitting in the chariot, he was able to see the whole universe. At that time, he can understand that Krishna is the reality behind that universe. Just like you see a table, you know the reality behind this experience is table. When you see a tree and the reality behind this is a tree. But can you know the reality behind the table and the tree? You can't even see the table and the tree simultaneously. Can you? So try to understand what understanding Krishna is not a joke. You must be able to. So how to improve this perception? This is the task of the conditioned soul. Are you following? This is a task of the conditioned soul. And this is happening in science. I'll just give the point, important point. Scientists began 500 years ago by saying, what if there is no soul, there is no God? Who has seen soul, God? But we have seen the world. I have seen tree, I have seen the table, I have seen the chair, I have seen the river. So we will take this to be real and we should study it. Are you following? So they said, we will begin our pursuit of knowledge by studying what we think, what we know to exist. Right? And I'm not going into the details. So let me repeat it again. So scientists actually thought that they are on safe ground if we study what we know to be surely existing. Table, chair and other things. Then what happened? They could not. They have come to a point now where their very science shows that the world is unreal, which is the first verse of Bhagavatam. And don't say, no, Prabhupada said the world is real but temporary and all. That's separate. Don't get confused. So, they are also coming to this point. So, in the olden days, the sages were the only ones who were trying to understand this. I must expand my experience. And how much I can say. And in that process, they were understanding that this world is unreal in a very subtle sense. It's not unreal in some simple sense of, in a very simple sense of mirror, image or, illusion, optical illusion like that. No. So, they are actually, sages were the ones. Ordinary people, they were not capable of even thinking like that. How can... everybody is interested in going to work and the bus is there. How can he has to catch the bus? He cannot think that the bus is unreal. Can you? And go to work? Is he? Not possible. So generally the people of the material world are absorbed in the reality of the illusion. And you and I, while chanting in the offensive stage, we are also absorbed in the reality of that illusion. Should never forget that. Is it okay? You want to forget? Should remember that. Otherwise, there is no motivation for going forward. I mean, I can say a lot more. I have to speak continuously, but you'll get tired. But at least the bottom point is that you should simply pray. You cannot understand. We should simply pray. Om Ajnanatimurandasya Jnananjana Salakya. I am actually a fool. I cannot know these things. Oh, my dear Acharya, please help me. Not that somebody is a fool and he doesn't know, but he is also teaching others, saying, I am a great knower of knowledge. That's happening outside world, which should not happen here also. So become intelligent. Don't be a cheater and don't be cheated. And try to understand the Bhagavatam from the right source properly. You cannot understand Bhagavatam by reading. We saw Prabhupada saying that. And you cannot understand Krishna at all, who is ununderstandable, unless you hear from the pure devotees. So I had more slides and more things to say, but so Krishna says that if you don't know that behind your experience the reality is ultimately Krishna, if you think the reality is table, that's what you think. Krishna says to Brahma in second chapter, second canto, but says, "Oh Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness." There's no value. So if you are not able to relate Krishna first to the whole thing and then to every little thing, then whatever knowledge we have is an illusion, even if you think I'm having knowledge from Bhagavatam. So become very humble, let us become very humble. Let us not think that just by reading with my own mental power and blah, 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 reading books and speaking, it won't work like that. You have to go from the kind of service we are doing now to another type of service. That's all secret. Nobody is interested, means what can I speak? You don't even know what is the basis of Krishna consciousness, because nobody is teaching it. I don't know whether they don't know or they are intentionally not speaking. I have no idea. I'll make one last point. I was telling yesterday one devotee, Sudama, I was telling him that unless you understand you are not a human being, you have not achieved the human form of life. Unless you understand you are not a human being, you have not actually achieved the human form of life. Surprising? Confusing? Actually, it is not. Then he was asking me, what does... I was explaining that it is same as I'm not the body. But because you don't know what that means, you don't understand this. I'm putting the same thing in a different way, you don't know. If I told you, please come to my house tomorrow morning, and then after some time I say, tomorrow, morning time, if you're not doing anything, you can come to my house. First time you understood, second time you didn't understand, something wrong. The same. In other words, in the human form of life, you should know that reality is, different from your experience. And this body is your experience. And you are thinking, I am this body, which is experience. But in human life, you can understand I am not this body, then you have become a human being. If you are simply thinking I am this body, how you are a human being? That's what a cat and a dog is thinking. I told him another thing. According to Bhagavatam, the basic elements are Panchabhutas, material elements. But something that is made of material elements is not a material object. Is that possible? Something is made of matter, but it's not a material object. Is that possible? Surprising, right? You have to know, you don't know anything, but you are reading. Kama ankara vimudatma kartahamiti manyate. You don't know what of these elements are. You cannot know. And you are such a fool that you don't even know that you don't know. So let me explain what it is and then I'll stop. I'm just trying to tell you that you don't know even the basics of Krishna consciousness to read the Bhagavatam properly. What to do? It's my job to. But if I don't have to say that, I can also give normal lecture, nice lectures. There's of no value. See this. In the screen you see objects, right? Different shaped objects. But they are not actually objects. They are made of, some bright pixels on an object screen. But they themselves are not objects, they are your perception. Similarly, all these objects are your perception of the Panchabhutas. In other words, if this body is a perception, then you are not seeing through the body. You are not seeing through your eye. But we are so fool, number one, we think I am seeing through my eye. That's called complete Maya. Do you think you are seeing through your eye? Yes. Right? And that is complete Maya. You have to get out of this. How are you going to get out? There's a process. That is Bhagavatam. My God. If you know all of this, then I can speak more. But first, so please don't get upset. Prabhupada said, Chanakya Pandita, he quoted, that a Murk gets angry when he is given good advice. So don't get angry. Oh, what is this? He says that nobody knows anything. Only he knows something. Don't. That's a fact. But I'm joking. The point is that you cannot learn anything without being told you don't know. That is why Krishna told Arjuna straight away, you're a fool. Ashochayan anvashochastam pragyavadam shabhajare. Anaryam justam. What is this? Kahan se aaya? Kutasya idam kasmalam. Kasmalam means dirty knowledge. From where you have got this dirty knowledge? He tells Arjuna, you're my devotee. How can you be so confused? They're talking about, oh, how can I kill my friends and my gurus and this and what is this? You have to do whatever I say. That's why you are my devotee. Of course, Arjuna was playing the part of that confused person. That's a different matter. You go to your doctor, he will first tell you what is wrong with you. You can't complain. What is this? I thought you are a nice person. I came to see you and I'm even paying you money. And you go on non-stop saying your blood is not good and your lung is not good, your breathing is not good, your eyesight is not good. That's why you have come to me, the doctor would say. So it is necessary in the proper gaining of knowledge that you have to come to know. In the beginning it's good. That's like you tell a child going to school, what do you learn? Baba, black sheep, Avi, any wool. Okay, oh, very good. But later on, you have to tell the child, you have to actually get knowledge, you have to study more. So in the beginning, it's okay. Whatever you are reading outside, and that has made you good enough to join, but inside you have to learn. So please try to understand Krishna consciousness is a sublime knowledge. I'm just giving you a little gift of it, little gist of it. So just like these things are there, the whole world is an appearance. So the 5 elements cannot be seen. So if the 5 elements cannot be seen, how can you see God? So therefore here Krishna is saying, O Brahma, this is Chatusloki Bhagavatam, very important. Please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. So because of these elements, this world comes out, but the elements are not making the world you see. Amazing. This is why Maya is very, very difficult to understand. And you cannot think about these things and argue and know. You have to go on hearing. If you go on hearing from the pure devotee, one day we can understand these things, but you have to do devotion. There's certain qualifications are there. I'm not going to speak about it. So now you see, I can move this. Isn't it? Am I moving it? No. There's a computer inside this phone that's moving it. But there is a point of touch. And even though I'm doing like this, sometimes if the screen is not working, nothing might happen. So the fact that you think you are moving this is your illusion. The fact that you think I'm lifting my hand is all illusion. Now Krishna says, Ahankara vimudatma karta iti manyate. But we are in that illusion. We should understand this. And if you are in that illusion after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, cheaters and the cheated. So you have understood something by the power of your mind, and then you are telling that to others. This can go on, but everybody is in the same darkness. Because ahankar is an element. Anyway, it's a science. But all of the last point, very last point, you cannot, the yogis were able to previously understand this experience is not real. Behind this, whatever I see is not existing. Ordinary people were not given that knowledge. It was only meant for yogis, But in Kali Yuga, even an ordinary person can understand this because of TV, cinema. In cinema, you see somebody running, but it's not real. So you can tell him an example, like in the cinema screen, you see somebody running, it's not real. You are seeing things like this, but it's not real. At least you can understand. So, cinema, TV, artificial, it's a Skype, on the Skype you are speaking, and then, movies, and, augmented reality, virtual reality, all of this Lord Chaitanya is bringing to make ordinary persons understand the basic point of Bhagavatam, that this world is unreal. That's the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Although this world appears real, it is unreal. The first verse. But it's a secret. So, through science, this knowledge is coming. That's what's happening in the second floor. They're telling me that, we go there and they say in the temple, don't go there, it's all Maya. What is all this? No, don't think we are fools. I have done whatever you have done and whatever everybody is doing before you were born. But why am I doing this work? Because Prabhupada wants it, Lord Chaitanya wants it. So I want to explain more what is that work in science. Because through science people are getting Shraddha. Prabhupada said, Vedas and Puranas you may accept, I may not accept. That science everyone has to accept. So any person says there is current in a wire, but current he cannot see. But he believes it because of science. So Adav Shraddha, in order to actually begin to understand the reality that you cannot perceive, you must have faith. And that faith in something beyond your sense of perception is going to be brought in by science. That is the value of science. Although science itself cannot describe reality, it has an important role to play. Because I have understood this by the Prabhupada's mercy, I'm doing this work regardless of whether anybody understands it or not. It's not our job. We have a philosophy that if Krishna is pleased, it doesn't matter who is not pleased. If Krishna is not pleased, it doesn't matter who is pleased. In my life, I got to do this, actually. It doesn't matter. Everybody is saying, what is this? 45 years he's doing, nothing is coming, is going on. Yeah. When you are making foundation for a big building, it's go on for a long time. People are saying, what is this? He's going on digging foundation. When will the building come? Building baad mein aayega, pehle aayega foundation banane ka. So I'm doing this foundation, but it's not irrelevant for understanding Bhagavatam. It's a great science that Lord Chaitanya is bringing, very systematically. Do not think Bhagavatam is just stories. It's a great, great piece of knowledge. And I'm hardly scratching the surface. Any questions or comments? I've spoken enough. Blah, blah. He Govinda, He Gopal.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for enlightening so many new points. The many times you read this statement in your class from second canto Bhagavatam.
Which one?
That you cannot understand Bhagavatam by reading books, just like medical books.
Right.
So my question is, just like Srila Prabhupada said, there is one conversation with Madhudvisha Prabhu. He said, if you are somebody is reading my books, that means I am their guru.
Yes. That's a fact.
Yeah. So how it is practical to go to somebody and learn Bhagavatam under present circumstances, because different speakers speak differently.
Separately, not in the class. That's a deep topic. But first I'm just giving some sample of some knowledge that you cannot get by reading the books. I'm myself giving knowledge that you'll never be able to get by reading the books. Right? Are you following? So, next step is next step. Your question is logical, but we'll discuss it another time. Any other question? Yes? It's a good question. Very important question. But we can discuss it separately.
Thank you, Prabhu. My question is, what is the qualification of a living entity to go back to Godhead?
But you seem to have an answer for that.
Short answer.
Huh?
Very short answer.
Huh?
Little answer, not a big answer. It should be very
That's
short.
why whenever people ask question in the class, most of the time, they want to say the answer. So you can tell the answer.
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
You really don't know, or just like that you are saying?
Really, I don't know.
Okay. Otherwise, it's a challenge, Okay, you gave all the class, but it's all a waste of time, Just tell us, what's the qualification? And then I say something. But Prabhupada said, but if you knew that, then why are you asking me? So I want to avoid all of that. So if you don't ask me.
I don't know.
The first qualification for going back to Godhead, according to Lord Chaitanya. Have you heard of him, Lord Chaitanya? You know him? Lord Chaitanya. According to him, the first qualification is you should recognize that you are not qualified to go back to Godhead. Mama janmani janmani ishware bhavatad bhakti rahitu kito. He is praying, I don't want to go back to Godhead. But life after life, if he can give me the same costless devotional service, that's enough. That's one answer. Ultimately, to go back to Godhead, we must love Krishna. There's no other thing. It's all based on love. But to love Krishna, we must know Krishna. That is why all the Shastras are written. Krishna Bhagirmukha Jiva, Krishna Korilo, Veda Puran. The Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's a very simple point. We are not qualified to go back to Godhead. That makes you qualified. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. Thinking that I'll go back to Godhead, that's not going to help us.
Hare Krishna. I have another question is, as we have heard many times Prabhupada Lila Amrita, that Prabhupada has so many spiritual ecstasy like midnight kirtan with Kadamba garland and all. And he could see at the arati that Sukadeva Goswami and Narada appearance. So my question is, what is the real identity of Prabhupada? Is he a spiritual, the Sakha of Krishna, or he had come from Golaka? What is your answer on this?
It's all unnecessary questions. We have to first understand what is our real identity. Jivera Swarup Nitya Krishna Das. Isn't it? That will be revealed automatically. I can say something, but what is the use of that? So what did he say, that he is Krishna Sakha or something you said? Huh? Sakha?
We have heard many times, but I'm looking for a logical answer.
All rubbish. First of all, you should know that gopis and gopas are not fools. What is that? Can you say that again? Who? So you do japa on that first. Gopis and gopas are not fools. Gopis and gopas are not fools. Gopis and gopas are not fools. You do japa. So I shouldn't get into this topic, rubbish topic question you have asked. I have made some class, it is nothing connected to the class you are asking a question. It is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Every Gopa also participates, because they are not, every gopi is going as a Gopa, because they are not going to be away from Krishna, and every Gopa has got a gopi form. So they never want to be away from Krishna. So what is the use of you asking what is his Swarupa and all that? No, that's a spiritual world is another reality. Let us not speculate about it. When the time comes, he'll reveal it. There's no other way. Any other good question about the class? Class? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, we thank you for enlightening us in a new perspective. Prabhuji, many times I have confusion that I got some understanding. I feel that it's revealed knowledge or this conclusion came from my mind or intelligence or consciousness. I'm not able to differentiate where it is exactly the rooted. Can you please enlighten
Yeah,
me?
that's a good question. So that has to be certified by somebody else who's not confused. Actually, that the fact that you're confused shows that you're conscious. And otherwise some people may think like I have a realization, this and that like that. If the things that I have said today in the class are indication of basic ideas, which if you didn't know, you cannot have any realization. Like that, you should know. Basic things must be understood properly. You have to be trained. You have to know how to hear. You follow what I'm saying? You have to know. You have to be trained. Everybody has to be trained in the art of hearing. Because while hearing, your mind should not interfere. So that should be trained, everybody. Are you following? Can you say what I said?
When we are hearing, our mind should not interrupt.
Huh?
When we are hearing, our mind should not come in between.
But that's not what exactly I said. If you
It
can
should not
exactly repeat what I said, then you have heard. That's why we quote slokas. Like this mic should say exactly what I said, not something else. That's called noise. I say Krishna and it says brr 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 Krishna. Noise. So we have to be like a high fidelity microphone. That training has to be there. So when you read Prabhupada's books, you must, you can hear. That reading is hearing, Prabhupada said. So how to read without the mind interfering? That is a technique you have to learn. So all that is very important before we talk about realizations. You follow what I'm saying? All that should be done. All that should be done. I've got some service, I'm doing it. I would like to train people like that, but that's not my kartavyam. Prabhupada has given me some service, I'm doing it. You can't do paradharmos bhaya apavaha. I can't suddenly say, I would like to now go and train brahmachari. Okay, once upon a time, it was my kartavya, that's a different matter. Follow? Suppose I have to cut vegetables, President has told me. And then suddenly somebody says, why don't you go and do arati? That's better, and I go. That's nonsense. So service has to be done, but there is a service, mandatta seva, prabhudatta seva, there is so many things are there. So in order for you to be able to, so to answer your question, to be able to distinguish within yourself what is true knowledge and what is false knowledge, which is your question, you have to be trained. Right now we are simply training ourselves, more or less. Or we are trained by someone who has trained himself. Our whole movement shouldn't become like that. There has to be authoritative training. We'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.